So this topic that you're doing is fractions, and I just wanted to go over a little quick revision of what fractions are and how we talk about them and what the key parts are in a fraction. So a fraction, first of all, is a number used to show parts of a whole. And for example, if we were looking at, say, a pizza, there's my pizza. If I divided this pizza up into equal parts, let's say two parts, pretend they're equal, and I shaded one of those parts in, that would be equivalent to one part out of two parts. So we're using a fraction to show parts of a whole. A fraction can also be a collection of objects and a certain number of objects out of that collection. So for example here with the bananas, what fraction is rotten? Well, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 bananas altogether. The rotten bananas, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5/8 of the bananas are rotten. So looking at collections of objects, you can also divide wholes into parts, but if you're looking at fractions, those parts must be equal in size. So you can see here that this particular picture has been divided into parts. Well, that's cool, but the parts are not the same size. So if we thought, well, these look like equal sizes here, let's divide this one up into another part that's equal, and this one. So now you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. That would be our denominator for our fraction, and a denominator tells us how many equal parts there are that the whole has been cut into or divided into. So that's why we put that 6 on the bottom. There's 6 parts. And in terms of the shaded parts here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those parts that are shaded. That's what we call the numerator. And the numerator tells us how many equal parts we have that we're interested in. So for example here, this might be shaded parts that we're interested in. So 5 out of the 6 parts that are equal sized are shaded. We can also divide a collection of objects into groups to show a fraction. So for example, if we looked at this group of smiley faces, I might like to show, let's say, 2/3 of that group. So 2/3 of this group, how many smiley faces would that be? Well, first of all, you can see, I'm just going to change my colour. Thirds means we'd have to divide this group evenly into 3. And I can see looking at that, I could do that with little groups of 2. 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 equal size groups. That's the key thing. They're equal sizes, 2 smiley faces in each group. And I need 2 of those groups. So 2 of those groups, I might pick them, I'll just do them in red or purple. 1, 2. So 2/3 of this group would actually be equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 smiley faces. So you can use fractions to find fractions of amounts as well. Just a couple of things with how we talk about fractions, actually 3 things. We talk about proper fractions. Proper fractions are where the numerator, which is the top line, is actually smaller or less than the denominator. So you can see the denominator here is bigger. And they're the type of fractions we're probably used to seeing. So you can see here with the pizza, each person here is getting 1/3 of the pizza each. So they're all what we call proper fractions. Improper fractions are where the numerator is actually bigger than or greater or also equal to the denominator. So if we look at, for example, these fractions, can you see the numerator is bigger than the denominator, 3 out of 2. And that can really represent wholes with extra parts or extra fractions. So for example, 3 halves, if we looked at some pizzas, divide them into halves, we've got here 3 halves, which would be 1, 2, 3 halves. So you can see that 3 halves could also be represented as 1 whole pizza and an extra half a pizza. And that's what we call a mixed number. So a mixed number has whole number parts, and it also has fraction parts which are written separately. So this example here with the pizza is 3/2 as an improper fraction, so the numerator is bigger, and it's 1.5 as a mixed number. If you had a look down here at the pizzas, what part of the pizza is each person getting? You can see you've got 1, 2, 3. Every pizza is cut into thirds, so that's the denominator. The girl is getting the pink pieces, and you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. She's getting 4/3 of a pizza. And if you wanted to, you could write that as an improper fraction, as we've done, or you could write it as a mixed number. So she's getting 1 whole pizza and also 1/3 of that last pizza there. So mixed numbers and improper fractions, it's one of those skills that you want to be able to do to go between them. So to go backwards and forwards between improper and mixed numbers. A proper fraction doesn't really link in with either of these. So the key thing is proper fractions, small numerators, improper fractions, the bigger numerator, and mixed numbers where we have whole number parts and fraction parts.